Yo, what's good guys, Venom Fire here, back in another video, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys the easiest scheme in Madden 21. This is going to be a mini scheme, and it's going to be more of a run-based offense. I'm going to show you guys a couple of dots I got as well, and it's pretty much going to be a balanced offensive scheme. So I'm going to be in the Las Vegas Raiders offensive playbook for the scheme. Before we hop into the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you aren't subscribed. Dropping tons of Madden 21 content this first week and this first month of the game, as well as into the future, dropping content all year long. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications to be notified every single time I upload. So like I mentioned, we're in the Las Vegas Raiders playbook, and the formation I'm going to be in base is going to be the wing flex close, but I'm also going to be audibling between the wing flex close and the wing slot formation. So let's just set up our audibles for both these. So we got the stretch, the dive, the 4 verticals, and smash. We got 2 runs, 2 passes, definitely the 4 best plays unanimously out of the offensive formation. Moving on to the wing slot, we got stretch, again, we got dive, but these are RPOs, so it does give you a little bit more opportunity with those. And then you also got the PA boot and the PA slide. So let's just come out. I always come out in the wing flex close, even if I am planning on audibling to the wing slot. I typically don't like to come out in the wing slot and then audible to the wing flex close. I feel like it's just a little bit sloppy, but that's just me personally. And also, when you're coming out in this formation, make sure that you just go ahead, throw your wide receivers on the wide side of the field. That's probably the best way to go ahead and pass, so that's the way you want to do it. Alright guys, here we are out on the field, and you see wing flex close, we got our receivers on the wide side of the field, and this formation is very interesting. You could either run stretch to the right or to the left. Now typically when I'm running stretch to this left hand side or the wide receiver side, you're not going to use any motion. You're just going to snap it, or actually, excuse me on that, you will use a little bit of motion. You're just going to motion this outside player like that. So you see the cornerbacks, both of them get picked up. You can make somebody miss in the open field like that, but make sure that, especially they got that cornerback on the left-hand side, I believe, and the safety to the right side. So when I'm running stretch, I like to slide to the left. I don't know if that actually does anything, but you need this player right here that I'm IDing to get picked up by your left tackle, so that DJ Moore will pick up this slot corner, and then Robbie Anderson will pick up him. If I were to just run it stock, sometimes the blocking gets messed up, as you saw there. Very sloppy. It looked like DJ Moore was running in place. So the way that you eliminate that, especially when they're overloading the receiver side, maybe for pass coverage, is you just go ahead and motion him out. Look at that gap right there. Absolutely night and day with that one motion. Again, it's really next level things that people who run the football do that you won't even notice if you're just watching a game. Next level things like just a simple motion will create a 20 to 10 yard play. Now even there, it did get messed up. I think I might have not ID'd the correct person, and that could have been the reason why. But again, sometimes glitchy stuff will happen. Even in that instance, I was able to pick up 10 yards or around 10 yards, I believe. This is a walking 10-yard run. Anyways, we don't just have to run stretch to the wide receiver side, and even if I were, something I could do is I actually like to motion Thomas. Now, for whatever reason, they introduced that little fast motion. That actually wasn't in the game last year. If you played the game, you ran this formation a lot, you know what I'm talking about. But a lot more faster motion, so take a look at Ian Thomas. Even if I motion this guy, it's a little bit faster, but you see it's still a relatively slow motion for him to go from right to left. And even going back, now I'm grateful that it is faster than last year, but it is still slow. Watch how fast Ian Thomas goes. He's going from his hand in the dirt just over there really, really quickly, and that just gives you an extra blocker. Now, the reason that you don't want to motion the guy all the way outside that tight end is because sometimes if they're not base aligned or whatever, then he will actually bring maybe a safety or a cornerback. In the case that their cornerback was on the right and they were in like a cover 2, then that cornerback would travel over to that side and maybe make a play to stop the run. The way you eliminate that, motion over this guy, nobody will shadow him, and he's just giving you an extra block. You see, if he, in the case that he does get the block shed, he's double teamed. We got the tight end and the lineman. It's pretty much not a worry in the world. Alright, that was a little bit of a mouthful, but there is a lot to talk about for that run. Now we got stretch to the right side. When you're running stretch to the tight end side, you can only motion this outside receiver. You can't motion DJ Moore to the left or right. Pretty annoying, but it is what it is. And when you're motioning Anderson, you see he's going to get shadowed. I really don't like running stretch to the right side, especially for whatever reason, they kind of ruin that motion. You see, when I motion snap with Robbie Anderson, he sort of just runs up the field without blocking anybody. So typically when you're running this, I like to actually just ID this guy, and then I'm going to motion over Manhurt so he sort of picks up that tight end. That is by far the best blocking adjustments I've seen. Now again, you might be going against different defenses than this nickel, but as far as the nickel from the labbing I've done, you're going to ID this player because you saw him in that first run. Even with the motion, the extra guy had less success. You ID him, and then you need, for both of those stretch runs, you want to get the outside guy cleared. The tight end, he's going to pick him up, and for some reason, that cornerback, I think that's CJ Henderson, just somehow ragdolled our tight end. I think it's just because he's a low overall, but typically your tight end should be able to hold a block on that cornerback. If not, then I don't know what to tell you, but you're able to get in the open field. Maybe you make a man miss like we did right there, the super clean new spin animations from Christian McCaffrey, but I know that was a lot, and I apologize for talking 6 minutes about the stretch, but you see the success it led to, and it's next level things like that will take you from a good player to a great player. So next up we got dive. I'm not going to talk about this too much. The halfback dive, the one way I run it is motioning over Manhurts, and then I go ahead and motion snap him like that. 3-3-5 does a really good job against the halfback dive, but if I were in any 3-4 formation or a 4-3, I wouldn't have as much success. Now, you've seen able to run it stock. It's definitely a solid play. You don't have to go with the motion on every play, but I just like going with motion. It confuses my opponent. And look at that, just very good blocks up the middle. Mix it up between the dive and the stretch, and you will be golden to go. And yeah, I'll just show it one more time. Even if you wanted to go ahead and mix it up, you could also maybe motion over Anderson. You snap him like that. Again, just mixing it up. You don't want to show him the same look every time. If I motion that tight end to dive, you want to give him multiple looks with multiple plays. Alright guys, here we are out back on the field. I'm going to show you guys my passing plays out of this formation, and then later in the video, I know this video is probably going to be a little bit longer, but I'm going over 2 formations, a lot of plays, and I talked about that stretch for a while. But here we are in the smash, my most run play out of this formation, probably my most ran play out of any under center formation in the game. Now, first things first, I'm going to show you a cover 3 beater. You notice I probably switched defenses, and that was because I was in a cover 3 match, sort of a weird coverage. But for this cover 3 beater, what I like to do is just put Robbie Anderson on a streak, and I like to at least block one of these tight ends, doesn't matter who. I like to keep that extended dig route. So here's a look at our play art. Robbie Anderson is going to be the player where we are targeting, so make sure you just watch him. Boom, and you throw it right there. Now again, Teddy Bridgewater does have sort of a noodle arm. I feel comfortable saying he doesn't have a lot of throw power. So keep in mind that he's not going to be able to, throw the ball as far as we would like. But you see we were still able to complete that pass. Now again, this will be a lot more high powered per se with a better QB at the helm. Bridgewater is still able to make the pass though. That shows you how good it is. And if you time it well enough, that was a terribly timed pass. Now, again, you want a lot of throw power because that cornerback does like to take his time in following that corner route. So again, it's one of those things. You got to be careful, but I'll show it again here, see if we can catch him off guard. We pass lead outside, and we're able to get the completion. He actually dropped it, but you saw it work the first time, and again, obviously this is better with the Kansas City Chiefs or anybody with a fast receiver, the Bills, anybody with a high throw power QB, but you've seen it work. In Ultimate Team, you can do anything, but let's go to a couple of other setups. Another setup I like to go to is just pretty much the exact same thing, but make sure you throw RB on a drag. Now, he was already on a drag, but he sort of hooks. He stops his route around where the left tackle is positioned, so you throw him on this drag route like so, and then you can actually motion out Robbie Anderson. The reason I do this is to open up the corner out a little bit more. You see, I wait, and then I can pass lead outside. He is wide open. When he was aligned in the slot, that doesn't get open because the outside third follows that little corner out. But again, the difference is I motion out Anderson, and this could also be used as a stretch bluff. Every time I've motioned him out, I've ran stretch. Now he thinks I'm running stretch. I end up throwing the football. And the player we want to hit is that corner out now. It would be better if you had a route apprentice, but it's still a completable ball. And the last setup I'm going to talk about is just a little flat concept, a little mat or bench concept. I like to just put X in this flat route, and then maybe I throw Manhurts in a curl, or I could always block him. And again, for all of those plays, you can always check down to your drag or your dig route. Didn't talk about that, but that's something you could do. So you throw X in a flat, I like to motion him out, and sometimes you can actually throw that flat, or you can actually fit in this corner route. Now, it is a very tight throw, but it is a throwable ball. I've made that throw a couple of times now. For whatever reason, the cover 3 actually did defend my flat route, which was pretty weird. Typically, they don't do that, but you see the dig route's going to be wide open. The corner route can be if you have the right corner route. But anyways, let's hop into our next play. And here we are in our last play, our last pass out of the wing flex close formation. And again, there are other formation or playbooks with this wing flex close, but they don't have the stretch or the dive. Usually, I know Packers has it, Rams has it, Cardinals has it, but they don't have these good run plays. They only have 4 verticals, usually in like some jet sweeps. But for 4 verticals, really it's a good play against cover 2. You can either attack A or up the seams, or B on the sideline. Take a look at Robbie Anderson here. He's going to get wide open. It is a long developing play, but boom. If you get the completion and if he opens up, you're taking it for 6, which is something that is very nice to be at your disposal, especially out of a run formation. Some of these run-based defenses I've seen are cover 2 shells, so what you can do is take advantage of that, especially out of a run heavy set, by just running 4 verticals. And again, he might think it's stretch as well. You've seen now that's 3 plays where we motion out that receiver, and I can even do that for halfback dive. I didn't mention that per se, but what I could do is maybe I run a dive and I still motion him out, giving him the same look, but just, running a different play. So that's 4. You can pretty much run all of these plays with the same exact look. Very difficult to defend on the defensive side of the ball, choosing between run and pass. So we've shown you that wheel route. It definitely does work. As far as the other routes, what I like to do is something I personally like to do is go with A in a flat, RB in a curl. I like to give myself a little curl flat type concept, and then maybe with X, I can throw him, on a hitch or an in route, something just to distract him. Usually I'll go with like a hitch maybe, or even a zig. Something to distract the user. I love the curl flat concept. It's a very, effective thing. And right there I can throw the curl. I had the hitch open. And a lot of times the mid read is actually good defending that seam route, but if they were mixing in their coverage, that seam route is very deadly from both the tight end spot and the receivers. And yeah, it's pretty much it for 4 verticals. Not very good against cover 3 besides the seams, and I don't think I'm going to go over it. Anyways, let's hop into our next formation. I know this has been a mouthful for me. I can only imagine it for you. I do apologize, but a lot to talk about. I'm trying to give you guys the most information about the formation as I possibly can. Anyways, we got stretch, alert, bubble. I audibled between the wing slot if you didn't notice. And again, we got the stretch and the dive. Now, one thing about this is you kind of want to run the bubble to that other side, but look how deadly it is. Now, just the reason that I like to audible between these is, it just moves one player over. So sometimes if they're in like a 3-4 odd or something, that cornerback on the right, just pretend that he actually goes over to that left-hand side. It opens up the stretch a lot, although you won't be able to see it in practice mode. It does happen in online. Now, like I mentioned, I like to run this with my receivers on the right side. So typically, if I'm on the right hash mark, I would run that wing flex close. If I'm on the left hash mark, I would run this wing slot. The reason for that is because the bubble is a lot better on the right side with a right-handed QB. I'll go ahead, show you how it is. Fortunately, I do gotta flip this a couple of times. I'll try to be quick about this formation, close things up a bit. But take a look at how fast Bridgewater is going to release the football. Boom. Now, he actually did pivot. Typically, they don't pivot. Or at least in the beta, they didn't pivot. I don't know why he pivoted there. Maybe it was a bad pass lead. But typically, it is faster throwing that bubble to the right. And again, you still got your dive. There's a couple of good run plays or pass plays. You got this play with a crosser. This play with a tight end or a wide receiver wheel route. I'm not going to go over those videos, already too long, but if you want to see a separate video on that, let me know. Anyways, that's going to close it out. Talked a lot of good football concepts in this video. Lots of good runs, passes, and this is a really easy scheme. Just simple 4 plays, you audible between them, go through the setups, and you will be winning games in no time. Appreciate the love on all the recent videos. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, and peace. I'm out of here.